Hi guys, welcome to Sandlot's Homies. We've been trying to do our best in these weird pandemic times. Uh, Coronavirus has left me without Omar. No, not because he's got it, but he's just sick, and I think he's got it. But just in memory of Omar. But since we're homies, we're all about the homies. We've got another homie who's a real dear friend of mine. Uh, Omar's missing out on this because he was supposed to be a part of this, but this should do. Guys, Rohita Menon.
Hello.
How are you doing, Rohita?
I'm good.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you.
We've been trying to do this for a while.
Yes, it's just nice to like have a silent Omar. That's rare.
That's rare, right? Yet intellectually sound.
It's just and pretty.
Yeah. This is what happens when your friends go vegan, right?
Yeah,
They're
they
sick.
get sick.
They're sick quite often. I mean, how much cheese can you make from cashew nut?
It's just too much cashew.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
How you been, man? How's life? How's life been?
Good. So summer holidays.
So Rohita's a real dear friend of mine. She's phenomenal. She's immensely funny. She's so talented. She's a dancer by profession and a teacher
Teacher by profession.
who teaches dancing. And she's just phenomenal. We're all fans of hers. Anyone who knows Rohita is just an absolute fan of her. Me included.
Stop it. Go on.
I was so happy Omar didn't make it today.
Oh.
Yeah, but we wanted to discuss a few things with you because I felt that there are certain topics we should get a perspective which is different from me and Omar. And yeah, so
A graceful female's perspective.
a graceful, elegant lady, someone who's ladylike.
A superior perspective.
Yeah, in some communities.
Not even in my household sometimes.
And it's hard to do this with you on Friday because of the brunch. So
This is true.
since we're talking about a room full of superior people.
Yeah, so I overplan and double book. It's true.
Super. So what's been happening, man? How's life been?
Yeah, life's been good. Literally just binge watching and stuff.
Binge, what have you been watching? Have you been watching what the entire Indian community is watching?
The new Tiger King.
The new Tiger King.
The new Tiger King.
That is spot on. This
on.
is the new Tiger King.
This is the new Tiger King. I can't wait for another episode. Like, just want to throw it in there, you know?
How good is
It's-
Netflix, man?
It's so important to my life.
No, how good is their content?
Yeah, so good.
So Indian matchmaking.
Indian
matchmaking.
matchmaking.
Let's say it like it's an ad.
Indian matchmaking. Dun, 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 dun.
Seema auntie.
Seema, what a boss.
Just Joe Exotic. The new.
Would you, low-key, want her job?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, her job was shifting between LA, New York, and Bombay. And she literally, there was no shot of her flying in. There was just the doorbell would ring.
They were all just in Bombay.
The doorbell would ring and she'd enter and say, "This is Seema from Mumbai." Seema from Mumbai. That's it. That was the introduction. How cool is that job? I want that.
It was a really cool job.
Tell me more about the show.
Oh
What
my
do you think?
gosh. First of all, I think she is just what's hilarious is there's like so much accuracy within the character. Like you know that stuff is potentially directed, but you know it's unscripted.
Yeah.
Right? Like and here's the thing, for all my friends who are not Indian that were watching it, were like, not one person was like, is this real? Like, they were like, oh my God, I can't believe that you have to. So there was never like is that real? Like, you know, when you watch like, when I watched Tiger King, I was like, oh, now I know who votes for Trump. Like, I'm like, oh.
Or technically stood against him.
Or stood against him. Or run for president. Like, how that's like, there's more requirements to be a class monitor in an Indian school in 7th grade.
Of course. That's really hard to do.
It's so hard.
I tried so hard to be a monitor and I got it once and I realized, you got it once? I got it once because at that point, the teachers were like, let's think out of the box. Let's give it to the most annoying kid.
Yes.
Because this might...
Leadership. Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's like getting tenure. It's like, I'm now invincible. Like, also, India, that's what's so great about the show. It was that, like, not one person is doubting if that's what Indian culture is like. The just the I have let's okay, but let's talk about the characters. Top 2 characters in the contestant category.
Yeah.
Because there's layers to this stuff.
Yeah.
There's layers.
So let's start with Aparna. You can't not talk
Yes.
about her. And I
Big
feel once you
A.
start talking about Aparna, it's a journey.
She's just so, okay. Okay? Tell me.
My point of Aparna,
Yeah.
I didn't think she wanted to get married. We were talking about this earlier. I feel that she saw an opportunity as a reality show star, and she took it up. And so I don't think she wanted to get married because she was really absurd, right? I mean, think about it. She went saying, "I don't like traveling. I don't like the outdoors," but the guy needs to know Bolivian salt flats. Honestly.
Like, what kind of guy doesn't even know that?
Okay, first of all, you're telling this to Seema auntie. Okay, this conversation is happening with Seema auntie, which means she's aware that the camera is capturing this, right? So she goes, "I need to see Bolivian salt. He needs to know about Bolivian salt flat, but he shouldn't be able to travel. I hate a funny man. Who hates
Who
comedy?
hates a funny man?
Who hates comedy?
Yeah.
Right? And you look at their household; they're so sad, right? They
Yeah.
just those dog pictures, which we want to clarify.
Who she thought was a cat.
Yeah, that. If someone came into my house saying I'm gonna find you a life partner, and couldn't differentiate between a dog and a cat,
That
dude,
was yeah. That
so
was personal.
I felt, and then what else did she call? Ambitious. Every Indian
Yeah.
family, everybody wants to marry someone ambitious. All right, you don't have to say
Yeah.
this anymore, but she said it. Her mom said it. Her mom's a weirdo. We'll come. She said it. Her mom said it, and then she goes on talking about, I hate being a lawyer. She's 34. She's been a lawyer for 10 years of her life. You can't want someone who's ambitious. And if you notice, all the guys she met, right, like Shrini and all these guys she met, they were all about, we're figuring out ourselves. We're trying to figure out what we want to do. We're trying to see whether this is for me or not. The
Yeah.
other guy she met, he's like, I don't know if America's for me. I might want to move to Dubai, which she said is, why would anyone want to move there? Woman, have you ever, like, do you know what an internet is? Like, why would you? First of all, you're in some suburb in Texas.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was personal though. I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
As you can
Well,
see.
let's bookmark that. I want to know about that. This is what I mean about the show. It just brings up so much.
Really?
Because I feel like as an Indian who grew up in the Middle East, who actively so when I moved to Australia, there was like a liberation moment. There was 2 moments that really stood out to me. One was when I was super sick, and I was like just in like pajama shorts and like a tank top, and I was like, I need to go to Woolworths and get soup because I'm so sick, like I can't deal. But then I was like looking for sleeves and like trousers because I was like, I need to cover my knees and cover my shoulders because I'm going to the shop. But then I was like, I'm so sick. So I just walked to the shop and not one person looked at me. Not one person noticed that I was in shorts. Because my whole life I grew up in Oman. It's quite like, you can't dress like, it's not like Dubai.
Oh, India?
It was so liberating. I'm like, no one cares. Like, that was one moment. The second one was when I went to a Priceline, which is like a Boots type. It's like a drugstore, but they sell like cosmetic stuff and like makeup and things. But I went to get bobby pins, and I was like, why are there like, there's like blonde bobby pins and like brunette, and I was like, oh, they're meant to look like your hair.
Oh.
Because my whole life they were just black. Like,
that's true.
Right? In India, in Oman, you just get black bobby pins.
That's true.
But then I was like, oh, they're meant to, that's why they have those ridged. So if you have straight hair, you put it on the straight side. And if you have curly hair, you put it on the ridged side.
I didn't know that.
Right?
I probably would never know that.
Yeah, I mean, you need hair.
Until now. We're going there, aren't we? We're already there.
This is the deepest underbelly of our culture that no one is willing to talk about. But that's what I mean. It's like, it brings up, for me, such a pseudo-Indian. Like, when I tasted freedom as a woman, as an artist, in Australia, like, I actively started, not intentionally, but actively was starting to uncover what it meant to be a woman and an artist, and like not pursue engineering or doctor, medicine or whatever. But even for me, a super pseudo Indian, to be like at that show, right? Because it's true. The can we talk about the moms? Like, first of all, going back to Aparna, like, she was such a bomb character because every other character that was like, these are my requirements, were either men or moms.
True.
Right? So she was like almost a breath of fresh air, even though that's why she was so everyone had such a visceral reaction to her, because she was not your typical Indian. She was not ever going to be. Imagine Aparna.
No, but she was your typical Texan.
Right.
Yeah.
But she had these like so she's got like that, I'm going to be the leader, I'm going to be the top of it, I'm going to be blah blah blah, but then she had the arranged, she wanted an arranged marriage. Like, you know, such a go-getter wants an arranged marriage.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think she wanted it.
It's weird. Yeah.
Also,
Actually,
I feel
yeah.
Seema auntie goofed up on a couple of things. I think she's quite a baller, because when she was put on the spot about all the demands that people had, she would be a little reflective in terms of know who you are. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like it said Okad. Okad means that, like, it's like you're way out of your league. Like, stay within your. So she'd be like, listen, Aparna's 34, so what's wrong with her? Why is she not married? That question is so cringy, but it was so apt for this moment, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
dude, at the same time, first of all, she got the first date she organized for him was just not the guy,
Yeah.
right? And even if Aparna's mom was stupid enough to call him, she said he's a loser.
Oh my god.
Her mom, dude.
Meanwhile, he like is an author and is like a
a
motivational
TED talk and
speaker.
podcast.
Yeah,
Right?
he runs a
It's
podcast.
it's hard thing to do. It is a hard thing to do, Omar.
my mom would be like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you're like, you know?" But yeah, he was super cool too, and he took her to like an axe throwing.
See, now that's wrong. That is wrong. All right. First of all, Aparna plus axe plus a lot of wine.
It's basically just her mom.
It's. Why would anyone do that? Why would anyone? That for me was the scariest moment. I would not want to see Aparna with an axe and loaded on wine at any point. But yeah, that her mom. I think her mom's been a big influence, right?
Let's talk about her mom.
Let's go for her mom. I'm okay with Aparna. I thought she was. At least she knew what she wanted, right?
Absolutely, and I think it was almost like the reason that people had such a like, I'd never be her friend. I'd be like, whoa. She would also we would just never be in the same circles, right?
Same.
Like, I feel like it would just be, she'd just be like whole, but her mom is like, where do Indian parents, I want to talk about this, right? So where do Indian parents, traditional Indian parents, or I guess traditional, you can go anywhere, you can go to Mars and still be like, listen, I'm gonna find you an alien that I will choose. You know, like, it doesn't matter where you live in the world, but like that where do Indian parents get off putting that much pressure on how a fully grown person's life turns out, and how that directly relates to the value that they possess, right?
True.
Because she was like, I don't want 1 degree. You need at least 2 degrees.
3.
Like, 3. Was it 3?
3 degrees. You need at least 3. 2 degrees is basic
She's
education.
like, or she said something like that. She was like, 2 degrees is enough, but I want 3. And like, you will never. And I love, because when they introduced that whole scene, the mom was like, I just want my daughter to be happy. Meh. No, she doesn't. She wants her daughter to be like Obama. Like, she doesn't want her to
That's
be
crazy,
happy.
dude.
It's crazy.
That's really sad. It's really sad. So the show was shot a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's shot in about 2018. Even the scenes
Okay.
in Bombay, the restaurants that they shoot, most of them are shot, and they were around 2018.
Yeah, well,
Which means either Netflix has kind of benched it out, and then they just, because of the pandemic, there's no content, and they were like dusted this video, and they're like, Indian matchmaking,
like, Seema?
and they hit gold.
They hit gold.
I mean, season 2 is, if it's not out, it should be anytime. You're right. You know, society is weird. So I've grown up in Bombay for the longest time, right? And in my environment, I have about I think 2 friends. Oh, you need to know about this. I have 2 friends.
We have a story.
I have 2 friends who've been arranged married. That's it. In my entire thing.
Okay.
One was within the community because he was specifically wanted within the community.
Yeah.
And I feel he'd been in love before and it didn't work out, and I think he was just checked out, right? In the sense. The second guy, I'll talk about him later. But this is a gold one. It just popped me in right now. Yeah, so in my friend circle, I've never had that. my family, we've never pushed that agenda out.
Yeah.
Well, of course, arranged marriages existed. It's been
Yeah.
around for a while. Uh, another eye opener for me on the show was look at the cities the show is set in.
Yes.
It's Bombay, it's Delhi, it's New York, and I think there's LA, right?
There's yeah, it's California. There's one
Yeah,
California.
there's one
there was
California,
one girl.
and then there's
And
Texas.
then there's
Yeah. So these are major metropolitan
Met-
cities where you
yeah.
would meet people
Yes.
easily, right? In India as well, when I think about arranged marriage, I know it's very rampant in the smaller cities.
Yeah.
It's very, because also the communities know each other and everyone knows everyone in a small city. But this is not a small city story,
No, it's not.
right? And another thing that really stood out for me was that they went after and let's talk about the other characters, right? Now the guys in Bombay, right? Pradyuman, Akshay, these guys,
Yeah.
and their mums, who are clearly, first of all, they're clearly new money. They're gaudy houses, clearly new money, right?
Yeah, let's go into that. I have a question about that because
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. So how would you? What does old money feel? First of all, old money wouldn't hire a matchmaker, right?
I guess. I don't know.
OG in Delhi money.
You know, the thing with matchmaking is not about the money, but it's about the insecurity that maybe I won't get married, or what the social stigma is of having someone who's close to 30 and not being married, or not having a kid, or stuff like that. So it's usually society driven, right? And again, it's also community driven because, like in the show, you'll see certain people want to stick to their communities. Again, a great thing about this show, I'm going to give some positives to the show,
Yeah.
is that they first of all, it's a great show. We're not
Yeah.
mocking it. It's definitely a parody of arranged marriage.
And it exposes
It
straight
does.
truth.
It does.
That's why it's so crazy to us because like Tiger King was crazy because I had never even known that that could be a lifestyle, right?
Correct. Now,
But this Indian matchmaker is the complete opposite journey emotionally because it's exposing the ultimate truth,
true.
and even if it was completely scripted, even if, right, there's so many people that
Yeah.
relate to at least a large percentage to it.
So I know people when I started putting up Insta stories about Seema Auntie, because
Yeah.
the baller, a lot of people wrote back to me
Yes.
about knowing her back from Bombay.
Oh my god.
They were like, dude, we know this auntie. She's at most of our weddings. She's primarily there to talk to people to know who's single, who's not married. I mean, that's a fishing ground, right?
Scouts biodata.
She'll come up to you and like, Rohita, do you have any friends who want to get married or not married? Here's my card. It's just a true story.
Yeah.
So it's not scripted in that sense. Of course, there are permissions for people. They sign a contract, all the actors or whoever, all the couples are on board. But that's
Yeah.
the true story. Another eye opener, dude. There wasn't a single community that was singled out. You had
Yeah.
Gujaratis, you had
Yeah.
Punjabis, you had Sikhs, you had Sindhis,
Yeah.
you had Marwadis.
And some of the biodatas were South Indian, which
You had
would
South
be
Indians.
super unpopular, I'm guessing.
Aparna's first guy was a South
Well,
Indian.
yeah,
Yeah, he was a South
exactly.
Indian guy.
Yeah.
So it's mapped out India, and it's mapped out Indians outside India as well, really well. And it is stupid, and I think it is a parody of what it is. And-
Yeah.
But you know what's really most sad, which I think is going to happen, is that Seema Auntie is going to just double her business now.
Absolutely.
Like I know friends of mine who are single and into their 30s, and their mums, when they saw the show, they were like, let's contact her.
Yeah, like she's obviously the dawn of
Let's
of
contact her.
matchmaking.
Let's get her. Maybe she can solve our
Oh my god.
bring happiness.
What do you think? What do you think is like? Okay, so let's talk about like the kind of essence of the show, right?
No, let's get through the characters
Okay,
first.
let's get through the characters.
I want to.
There's more.
Dude, these characters are just phenomenal. Whoever's done the show edited brilliantly, got the right people in.
Yeah.
How cool was Nadia, right? Everybody went back saying they loved her.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She just felt like she was just okay with life. Like
Yeah.
no complaints.
And I think that's what's so interesting about this series is that like if you saw Nadia out at Pier 7 or whatever, you were not going to be like, she can't find a guy. No one's going to think that,
True.
right? But I think that's what's so great about the show is that there's something so astute about arranged marriage. It's about it's like finding a good lawyer, right?
Yeah.
It's so contractual and like that, is that a word? Yeah. Contractual.
It is now.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
It is.
So like it's just some Nadia's story confused me, but I think that's why I think they started with her because it sets the scene for why this happens, why they trust their entire life based on a woman that they would never ever hang out with or meet or know. Like,
Yeah.
you
And she's
know?
cool, right? She's a
Yeah.
dancer.
She's a dancer.
She's just fun to be with.
Those scenes were great though. She was like, I'm just gonna Bollywood my stress away. I was like, yes, girl.
Every time I hear an NRI say the word Bollywood, I just
I know.
Right.
Oh yes, tell us about that though. That's important for the
Guys,
for the
just
non-Indians.
stop using the word Bollywood. Just stop.
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
like just stop. First of all, there are many film industries in India. All right, they have dance, they have sing song, and which is rampant across the nation. Bollywood is not a place.
Yes.
Hollywood is a place.
Yeah.
Bollywood, what you consider Bollywood is NRI Indians, is the Hindi film industry.
Which
Please
was, so
address
originally Bombay, Hollywood. So that's how they got the whole trend started, right? It
Yeah,
was like
whoever
Viva
started
Bombay.
it was quite an idiot.
Which is also, it's not even called Bombay because that's British. So
Portuguese.
Portuguese.
Yeah. But we still call
I
it
told you
Bombay.
about pseudo-Indian.
We still call it
And like
Bombay.
Gandhi was a great guy.
But Nadia bonded on
He's
ketchup,
well
which I didn't like. I didn't like the fact that she bonded on
Also,
ketchup.
if you're gonna be talking about how you can't stand ketchup, like boy,
What did you think about him?
J-Lo sang that song "I Ain't Your Mama" for that kid.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
he was obviously like just not on the level of like let's
Vinay,
get Vin.
Vinay, I think.
I don't actually remember a lot of the.
I remember most of them.
You really
Yeah.
remember the names?
Yeah,
Like
because they just...
Prabhimanyu. What's his name?
Prabhaman. Dude, first of all, half of the names on the show are really primitive Indian names.
Yes.
Right? I really, really like... It's
Yeah.
It's probably like what happens in colonized countries, right? You leave these names like George and all behind, and really no one's following. Sorry, I said George. I know
It's
you're a
true.
family member.
Oh yeah, but he's Sparky.
He's funny, yeah. No, but I remember George because they made fun of the royal family when they named the child George back in...
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it was... So, Prabhimanyu, Pradyuman
Pradyuman.
is a really,
Prabhimanyu is
really annoying old man
Super.
mythological
Yes.
storybook name,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know how, but that works.
Like it means like breastplate of strength or something. I'm sure.
Really?
No, but I feel like it should, right?
I like what his
It's
sister...
like, it's like Golden Temple of the Cow God, or I don't know.
my like 20 minutes of me in that show was like, who names these kids?
names
Who's
these
naming these kids?
Yeah.
Right?
And they're like 25.
And yo, worried why they're not married or why they're not game.
They're 25 and they're not married.
Even his sister like, you need to compromise because when I
His
married
sister.
Yogesh, and I was like, who names a child Yogesh?
Yeah.
Right?
And
So
you know, there are kids that are named that now.
no more.
Yes. Hello.
I
You're
don't
talking to a
think-
teacher.
You have a Yogesh in
I
your
don't have
class.
a Yogesh, but I do have like some interesting names that should not exist.
You will not have a Pradyuman, I feel.
It's like having a beautiful like girl and calling her Cleopatra. Right? Isn't that so accurate? Like, oh,
Or Caesar.
do you want to hold do you want to hold Caesar? Like that's no.
So the fun story about Vinay,
Yes.
if that's even... Now his name's
The
Vinay.
ketchup kid.
The ketchup kid.
Yeah.
Who apparently ghosted her a couple of times.
Yes.
And once when she was with her friends...
That was the second time.
That was the
My
second
gosh.
time.
Yeah.
That was the final one, right?
Yeah.
So apparently he put up a story saying that this show was obviously shot long ago.
Yeah.
I actually never ghosted her. I was never supposed to go meet her friends. And the one time I did, I actually apologized. He put up on his
Also
Twitter,
on the show, he did say that I passed out in a fitness class.
oh, I'm arguing with my sister or
Yes,
something. Or he was
yeah.
an IV. He said that, yeah.
Yeah.
And so he put up his story saying that friend scene was never supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Which I feel is okay. Because you've ghosted her twice. The show director would have been like, let's make it seem like it really impacted you. So let's do
Yeah.
it when you're supposed to meet your friends and all that.
Yeah.
Given. I mean, you
Yeah.
need that. I mean,
You've
I
got-
enjoy the
it's
drama. I'm
reality
watching a
TV.
show. I'm watching
Yeah,
TV.
You can't
know?
take the TV out of the
yeah,
reality.
you can. Of course.
Yeah.
Just deal with it, Vinay.
But I think what's hilarious is in that's I thought about that scenario a lot. I haven't been personally like stood up in that degree, but I'm such a worrier. So if like Colin will say to me like I'm gonna be home at like 10:30, and if it's like 10:45, I'll be like, oh my god, like is he okay? And
Was he
I'll,
with
like,
someone
go-
else?
No, as in like
Oh.
like is he okay? Is he driving? Like blah blah. Is he safe? Like so if he's not home like at a specific time, I super worry. I go into like the worst, But then he just says I'm leaving now, and he'll not leave, right?
I'm most
But-
surprised that you're awake at 10:30.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. I'll take that. I'm an early riser. But here's the thing. When he stood her up the first time, didn't message her, obviously he was sick or whatever. If that was me, and the thing is, you saw that they've had like iPhone footage of them watching a movie together and like kissing and like being super like they made it, like it worked, and I was like, oh my gosh. I would not, if a guy that I was like proper into and seeing didn't show up on a plan that we made, my head wouldn't go for like I've been stood up. My head would go to like, is he alive? Right? Yeah. But her brain went straight to like, oh my God, I've been stood up. And I'm like, girl, calm down. Like, I would actually not go there.
I feel they cut out a lot for the show. Because they wanted to write the character off, right? Because we don't see him after that.
Yeah.
And then they also wanted her to move on to the next guy. Like, Seema Auntie already had. First of all, Seema Auntie is a baller. She got 3 guys for Nadia.
Like 12 for Aparna.
And the first guy, dude, Nadia went, I'm Guyanese, I want an Indian. And she's like, hi, I have a boy. He's Guyanese. He's Indian. He's also raised here. And I was like, that's amazing. That was, how precise is that? How precise is that?
Can we please talk about Akshay and his mom?
Yeah.
I've got to.
But imagine that guy, dude, he stood up Nadia because she ordered a drink in the afternoon. She ordered a mimosa. And he brought it up.
Oh, the first ever guy.
Yeah. How annoying was that? Dude, this is so weird. You know, as Indians, dude, we've got it so deep in our fabric.
Yes.
We don't even realize it.
Yeah.
He noticed that she ordered a mimosa and she's probably nervous. She probably just wants to.
I'd be like, can I have 3?
Yeah.
Can I have 3 and a new date? Thanks.
and he brought that up and he was just, that put him off. Yeah. That's so weird, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Akshay and his mom.
Yeah, sorry, I had to.
Akshay and his mom.
That's a good point that you brought that up.
Dude, I feel this entire show is just a social experiment in how embarrassed we should be, because we know this existed. You and I know this existed. Yeah. You've grown up in a different part of the country of the world, and I've grown up in a different part. Yeah. And we live in a third part of the world, and we both know that it's completely true to exist, right? Yeah. Even though it's not in our environment. Yeah. And I feel that's just sad. And this show, if anything, should be reflective on like, this has to stop. You cannot have a weird criteria to choose people. You cannot say you want fair. You cannot say you want like, everybody wants someone who's jolly. Favorite word from the show.
Also, like, that just to me sounds like slightly high, right? Like, I just want someone jolly. Like, someone a little bit oblivious to, like, I don't know, the fact that they're high. Like, I don't know. Like,
jolly.
Like, jolly rhymes with Molly. I'm just going to leave that out there, okay?
That's true.
Fair. True. That whole word, fair. Fair. Pretty.
Yeah, Omar and I spoke about this in a couple of podcasts away about Fair and Lovely, right? Stems from here.
Yeah.
It's usually associated with a lot of women or guys who are single and want to cross over. Yeah. And Fair and Lovely's changed its name right after the podcast. I want to believe.
We're wrong.
To Glow and Lovely.
Oh gosh. Which is weird because that was their also did you know Fair and Lovely had a Fair and Handsome?
Yeah. We brought that up as well. That's for the men. It's true.
Like,
so now it's Glow and Handsome?
Glow and Handsome. Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't bring those insecurities. I mean, that's blatant insecurity. I hope they didn't bring that on the show. Yeah. That would be like, even the producer would be like, yeah, we're spiraling way too down.
But they did, like, that was legitimately so many parents, like thought process. They were like, you know, I want this girl, I want this girl, I want this girl.
Akshay's mom.
Yeah, and you know did you notice that none of the girls, Aparna had her own scaffold of a standard that's like unreal, right? Yeah, but no girl was, but even like the parents of the boys or the parents of the girls, the controlling moms, like the Aparna's moms and stuff, never are girls allowed. And I know because I have family in India that are like arranged. My whole, you know, my dad and mom were arranged marriage. Like, I know how that works, you know. No girl ever says, I want this guy, I want him to be this color, I want him to have this. They don't. That's cool. Put it on the list, but we're not gonna actually. However, with the girl, you have to be a lot more like, no, she's too dark, or no, she's not. You know. And also, here's the thing: I want her to be beautiful to commercial mainstream standards, but I want her to be sanskari. Cultural. I want her to be cultured.
She come and burn my house down.
Yeah.
No voodoo.
Yeah.
No black magic. No animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, what?
But don't enter the temple if you're on your period.
Oh my God. I
True story.
can't.
True story.
Yeah,
It's
I
true.
can't. It's
Yeah.
it's awful. But that's the thing. Like, so okay, what are your thoughts on like arranged marriage? Like, I actually personally have seen. I was thinking about this actually earlier. Like, what is it about arranged marriage that is so taboo? And I actually don't think it's the arranged marriage that's taboo. It's the process. It's the procedure that they go through in order to find their husband, right?
Yeah, so I don't think I mean, if it works for somebody, it works for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the underlining things below it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the equation that you add something and the answer is arranged marriage.
Mm-hmm.
What is that equation?
Mm.
Is it loneliness,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a reason to marry? If you go to adopt a dog, the first thing they'll tell you is don't do this if you're lonely, right?
Yeah.
You do it because you genuinely want a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So loneliness is not an answer. Is it insecurity that you feel like you're being left out and your friends and your sisters and everyone else is getting married? Don't do it.
Mm.
Because marriage is not going to be that.
Mm.
Marriage is not going to be that companionship.
But is marriage something that we just do? Like, for example, only in the last, like, whatever, 50 years, 100 years even, I don't know, is like wait, look at like a very traditional Indian family. When they have kids, they're not thinking, should we homeschool them? You know, they're just like, okay, in 5 years she's gonna go to school, he's gonna go to school.
Yeah.
Right? It's not even a reflective thing. That's just what's gonna happen, you know?
Yep.
And so I feel like in India, culturally, arranged marriage is not a self-reflective act. It's literally it's like, ding, you're ready. Like, time to take you out the oven and put you, you know. It's
True.
like literally just something that you do. And it's, so everybody has to get married. Like, everybody has to get married. The parents have to find the one for them. They have to go into their family.
Yeah.
But I think what trying to play devil's advocate here, I guess, is the companionship is what sells arranged marriage, right? Like the long-term companionship. However, and which is true.
No, I also
you know?
feel there are a lot of communities in India that just don't mingle that much.
Mm.
A lot of communities. So for a lot of women in India, marriage looks like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
It does look like I will finally have my say and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which in its own, it's a battle by itself.
Mm.
But even in the show, if you notice, before the episodes start, they have these couples that come in and do the headline thing, which are like 40 years into marriage, 30 years.
Yeah.
Most of them are arranged marriage, right?
Yeah.
So even the show producers are not talking down on arranged marriage.
No,
It's the process of getting
absolutely.
there.
It's a narrative.
It is
sure.
how we've become. As you could have taken something great. If my friends who are arranged married are great, right? They're happy with their marriages and stuff like that. But if it was something that was thrown upon them, I don't think they would be that happy.
Yeah.
I have friends who have love marriage and divorced, and I don't really have anyone who's arranged marriage and divorced.
Oh well.
So I think it is how you abuse any system.
Mm-hmm.
If arranged marriage works for you, it's fine. Go ahead and do it. I know a lot of people who swear by it. The ones who work by it swear by it, right? But it cannot be the way it's shown in the show. It cannot be your mum dictating terms. It cannot be about your mum wanting
like
more than like Akshay. They're Akshay and mum, right? That I think they took the entire last few episodes, carried it forward.
Yeah.
Akshay and his mum, like he's probably an introvert. He's probably just he comes across really uncomfortable with the camera in the room.
Yeah, and I also
Right.
think that he's also just not done much. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just feel like,
For her to expect so much out of the
Yes.
girl, I don't think he's offering much
can
himself.
we talk about that? There's a partner's mom, right, who's like, my daughter is the queen. Like, Beyonce should bow to her. But then, like, she I feel like has kind of a place on the table there because she's a strong, she's successful, she's well traveled,
Yeah.
she's super independent. You can tell, like, she's not going to take BS from anyone. Then there's Akshay,
but
whose
she's-
mom's like,
But they're both the same.
yeah,
They both look at someone who could be with their child as losers.
yeah,
Right, and that's fundamentally the issue, and it's the same thing. It's the first generation immigrants, and it's new money guys, right? I feel so. Akshay's mom, I think, for her to be, or for him, I think he said it right. He said every guy looks for a mom in his wife, which is so weird.
I died
Which
when
is
he
really
said
weird.
that.
And this brings me back to the other friend of mine who got arranged married. Dude, this guy was He's a fun guy. He was great. He's great to be around. Okay,
Yeah.
he's funny. All of that. He's dated women. It's not like he struggled with that, but he got arranged marriage, and his mum was his arch nemesis forever. She hated all his friends. She was one of those. You know, you have that one friend in
Yeah.
every friend group whose mum is just
Just
terrorizing, right?
Yeah.
She was that, and she would blatantly insult all of us as his friends. Like she liked me because
Yeah.
because we stayed closer in a similar whatever. But just the other friends, she hated them. The worst thing is this guy was the naughtiest of the lot.
Yeah.
Like we were way better off than he was,
Yeah.
right? And she hated all of us. Eventually, he married a girl who has the same name as his mum. They eventually changed it.
She changed her name.
She changed the name. But her original name
Wait
was the
a
same as his
second.
mum. They look similar. They have a
She hates all his friends.
similar evil eye, like to all his friends. It freaked us out, dude. It freaked us out so
But
much.
yet she changed her name.
She changed the name
Like
because I
the
think
w-
I think in that culture.
I rest my case about the
No,
whole
but
patriarchal
I don't.
society.
I don't think that has much. That's true, but I don't think that has much to do with him wanting to do it. But I think in that community, I won't mention who because do your homework. In that community,
All of India.
women when they get married, they change the first name.
First name.
So they changed her name. In his case, it worked out because it was his mom's.
Yeah.
How would you marry someone who's named after your dad or your mom?
Or even just, yeah. Sometimes I do wonder that though. Like there's traits, but I think, okay, I have a rebuttal for that, right? So people are like, you always end up like being attracted to like whoever your parent is, or like your dad or your mom. But I think when you grow up, you have two immersive, imminent role models as the male figure and the female figure, or male and male, or whatever, male, female, whatever. Like, that's all you know.
True.
Right? So that's my filter in accessing, assessing, understanding, which is why I feel like it is so important to date. Because if you don't date around, you don't actually know.
But I'm sure these guys were, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure most of these guys were, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's even in the Indian community, right? Like again, going back to the show, that Sikh lady who's a divorcee,
Oh my god.
and her dad, dude, she's lovely. She
She's
seemed like
so
such
lovely.
a nice person, dude. And her dad,
Yeah.
he's given me an answer that I've been throwing at my wife throughout the week, which is no, I will not accept your answer.
I will not
I will not buy your
it.
answer. I will not buy your answer.
Nobody's selling you nothing, bro.
I will not buy.
I have something to say about that family.
Let's say what the case was. Okay, the case was his daughter is divorced.
Yes.
She's a very sweet lady.
Yes.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
She
Got a daughter.
and Meena, Seema auntie, the baller, was like, listen, you can't be picky because you're old, you're divorced,
You're basically a reject.
you're a reject,
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
you were not. And she said she wants a Sikh boy from the community, which is fine. And she
Yeah.
said, you don't have much room to play with, so just compromise. Just compromise is the tagline
Oh
of the
yeah,
entire show.
but they never say that to the men.
They never do.
No men is ever told just compromise on your standards.
They never do.
It's always the women, and it's always the stronger women that want to work after. Compromise, sacrifice, whatever. Like beta, so patronizing, right? Like if it's not your dad or your mom calling you that, like just don't call.
No,
people
for
that.
men it is they're confused. He's confused. He does not know what he wants.
Yes,
But the girls
that's
have to
true.
compromise.
Yeah, that's
right?
true. It's like, and that's so I shared it.
No, hang on. I want to go about her dad.
sorry.
Her dad.
Yes.
So her dad then goes, fine, go look for boys. Seema auntie comes back with a boy who's also divorced, and he looks like a great guy. He seems
Yeah.
like he's fine. He's got hotel chains and all of that, which is a big thing in America, right? And he goes, why was he divorced the first time? And Seema auntie doesn't have an answer.
And she was divorced the first time because her husband was unfaithful.
He was unfaithful, correct. So it has nothing to do with divorced
Yeah.
people. And he was like, he was married to an American. He's like, aha! He was married to an
They will
American.
not let you make the same blunder.
Yeah. Dude.
Also-
And he called him a blender.
Also,
Didn't he not call him a blender? And his son-in-law. So he's got two daughters.
wait. No. I have okay. Before you go into the bomb
I
of
will
this story,
not buy this answer.
can we talk about? Yeah, can we talk? He was like, I cannot agree to this because I will not let you make the same blunder that you did. Bro, you probably chose that husband for her.
Maybe he did.
This is your blunder.
You have already made a mistake before.
Wow.
What was the
Okay,
name?
go on.
Rupam. Rupam, you have already made the mistake before.
She's
I am not going
gorgeous.
to. First of all, don't move to a country and hate people of that
Thank
country.
you. Okay,
Don't
okay,
do
okay.
that.
No, but no, drop the bomb though. For the people who haven't watched it,
So
we've
he,
ruined the show. But
so
whatever.
we've got about 5 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up. He goes. I don't want someone who's married a white guy before, like the guy whose biodata, another great word,
It's like LinkedIn for
whose biodata was he's married to a white American who's now divorced, and he was like, no, he's a blender. And then his daughter shows up, who has a black husband, which is
gorgeous kids. My goodness.
which is great, right? I've never seen white as a minority in a household.
But you know what? Like I was thinking about it. And I'm like, I wonder if the producers made her go. Was it you that said that? I wonder if the producers made her go visit her sister so that the dad's BS could be shown.
I feel that's an undertone because even Aparna's mom, when you see Aparna's sister's husband, he looks like a truck hit him. He looks like he wore everything that he owed and he showed up on the TV. He didn't have a word. He was just on the couch and he didn't comb his hair. He was just like, it was like men in this household are tortured.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel the same thing with this guy. They wanted to just make sure that.
But I wonder if the daughter was because there was an older woman as well. No, it was Aparna's mom because she did actually say.
Yeah.
But they weren't. She was nowhere in the picture with her
Yeah.
dad. So I wonder if the dad ostracized that part of the family because she married.
Dude, I saw if you remember how the show started, their segment, how it started, it was a dad trying to cook.
Yeah.
And she's standing close by and she's like, you don't really cook. And I know he was only doing this because the camera's on him.
Yeah.
Most Indian dads are like that.
Yeah.
They just want to take the limelight away. And so he's decided to come and cook and he decided to like la 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 la. But yeah, that was the show. That was
okay. So in like conclusion.
Are you getting arranged married?
Yes.
That's it? It's sold? That was the idea?
Arranging that.
I'm gonna start the new Tinder app by Seema Auntie's name.
Right?
Right. You know who's gonna be
Swipe Seema.
you know who's gonna be my gold service on the Tinder app for that face reader. How good is that job?
Yo, she outsourced.
How good is that job?
I love how a face reader is straight up discernment and like judging people. He made a career out of that.
He's got a career during lockdown.
Like imagine if I did that as a dance teacher. Like, yeah, you're not gonna pass this year, like because of your contouring. Like,
man,
what?
So much of the show.
There's so much to talk about. We have there's so much because there's I want to like eventually I want to get into like the I don't know, the representation, but the truth behind the representation, right? The massive double standards.
It is, yeah.
The objectifying.
I don't think anyone supports that. I felt really bad for a lot of women I know in America who so there's another story, a parallel story that's come out that's saying everyone finds this funny, everyone thinks this is hilarious, but we live these lives.
Yeah.
You know, if you are from a background where your parents are forcing you to get married, please show them the show.
Yes.
Right? Use this in your advantage.
Yes.
And they're just distraught. They're like, this is our lives, you know. You find it funny, but we've had to...
Yeah, of course. And here's the thing. This is a very liberal arranged marriage because they get to go on dates.
Guys, if you move countries, which mostly everyone does right now, there's a whole bunch of people moving to Canada. Do not become someone who only hangs out in your own community.
Yes.
It's great. It brings comfort. But integrate yourselves.
But that
it's
goes
fine.
to anyone. That goes to anyone.
But migrants mainly, right?
But anyone here in Dubai, how many times do you see people that only hang out with either the people of the same profession or the same race or culture? There are I know people who will not even hang out with. They'll do a whole you're from the north, you're from the south type, and these are not Indians, but Indians do that well. We all do it, right?
Do.
But I think it's so important for your worldview and your children's worldview to constantly question and self-reflect the why behind everything. Not everybody did this. I did this. My grandfather did this. You know, if time doesn't make you go back and judge yourself, then you have not progressed.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%.
And that's so important. Like, yeah. So
this week was all about Indian matchmaking. Everyone needs to watch this show.
Yes, they need
watch
to.
it. Take notes.
And send us your memes.
So many.
Send us your memes.
So many. There's so many we haven't touched on, but I think that's fine.
Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Can I tell you something awesome to watch?
Yes.
There's another thing that I watched which just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Was a Vice documentary on Shaggy. Have you heard Shaggy? You know Shaggy, right? Like Shaggy was super popular back in the day, right? I mean, We have an age difference, but I know you would have been in Shaggy.
Mm-hmm.
Which song does Shaggy do you know?
Oh man, it's like 90s. If
It
you're
Wasn't
like
Me?
Yeah.
So there was a whole Vice documentary about the making of It Wasn't Me.
Oh.
Right now, which is obviously a really provocative song.
Yeah.
It's about cheating on your wife. It's about this and that.
Yeah.
It's a reggae.
Yeah.
So there's a whole documentary about how Shaggy, and dude, in this documentary, Shaggy talks like a normal American. He doesn't have the voice like that. He's not be talking like that. He's not.
It's like Sean Paul having a British accent.
But also
He's like Sean Paul, but then he's like, I'm Sean Paul.
from Barnsley.
Barnsley.
But so Shaggy he knew that, and he knew that if I make a sound from Kingston, Jamaica, where he was in the army and la 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 la, and if I make a song like that and I have a catchy tune, and people don't need to. This is also back in the day where we didn't have digital music, right? It was still everything on television. People want to hear it, so he made the song. It's a great documentary. He made it. He wrote it down about It Wasn't Me. She caught me banging on the countertop and this and that.
Yeah.
And everyone rejected it. They made the song, they knew it was fire, but they rejected it. Long story short, it went to the producers, they dumped it out. They were like, we're not, like in the middle of the song, the producer puts off the tape and he's like, you guys gotta leave.
Wow.
These guys are just doing their rounds, doing the concerts. Shaggy had a few hits like Bombastic and La La La. He's just doing the rounds everywhere. It was career suicide because it was reggae. It's also in a time where there was Britney Spears, there was Aguilera, there was all the Backstreet Boys, rappers were white, golfers were black. It was a different time, right? So you couldn't get a reggae voice, especially a pretentious reggae voice in. And what happens is the song was scrapped. Someone uploaded the song back in the Napster days on Napster.
Oh my gosh.
A DJ in Hawaii randomly had heard of Shaggy.
I can relate.
He pulled out the song and played it on radio, and he's saying my lines went bust. Everyone started calling in from Hawaii and saying, what is that song, this, that? And it just became a sensation.
Oh my god.
That is the history of It Wasn't Me. It's a 10-minute documentary.
Yeah.
Dude,
what's it called?
It's just a
Just
Vice.
Vice, yeah.
The story behind It Wasn't Me.
Wow.
And that's what picked it up. And now it won like Grammys and la 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 la. So proud. If you're a content creator, if you are someone in creator, it's such a great story.
Yeah, and here's the thing: never ever. That's the takeaway from that is never ever make content for the industry. Make it for the listeners always. Or and don't sell a product and then expect for it to not be consumed. Yeah, that's so true.
So takeaway from today's podcast, Rohit. First of all, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
I hope to have you on more often, and I hope you had fun.
Yeah, it was so
fun. And hopefully Omar can join us when he's not.
Just exposing the horrific underbelly of
when he eats meat again.
Yeah, get well soon, Omar.
And yeah, man, thanks.
Yeah.
So about artists, what did I learn? Don't be arranged marriage for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with your parents or your aunties.
Yeah.
Question
everything.
Yeah, don't be a rich douchebag. Quite a few of them.
Don't be a rich douchebag.
Don't have your picture on your door handles. don't have an access code to your closet unless you want to stay in the closet, which I think Pradyuman.
Hey, let's just leave that there.
Let's leave that there. Yeah. And believe in your art like Shaggy. I believe that. And if you become a famous rapper, you don't have to be president.
Famous, not good.
Yeah.
Famous.
No matter what personality of yours tells you should do it.
No matter how many characters you live with.
Done.
You don't.
Thanks, Rohit. Thanks for stopping
by.
And you want to tell the guys to subscribe and like and share and tell their aunties not to watch this but that instead. That's your camera.
Okay.
Subscribe. Like.
Sandpit. Homies.
Sandlot.
Sandpit.
Armpit. Sandlot.
Sandlot homies.
You're a homie now.
I am. I always was.
Welcome to the family.
I hope you know that.
All right. Thanks, guys. Speak to you soon.